You're listening to On Fire Concerts Artist Interview of the Month series with your host, Ron Johnson.
This is Ron with On Fire Concerts, and we're here today at the beautiful Willie Nelson and Friends Museum and General Store over in Music Valley area next to Nashville Palace and all that. Amazing museum, and I am here with two friends that we go back a long ways. And it's Joelle and Leanne with 2Country4Nashville. I gotta hear Joelle say that.
Hey everybody, hi, I'm Joel.
And I'm Leanne.
And we are 2Country4Nashville. Tell we used to do a radio show.
Yeah.
We haven't done that in a long
I haven't
time.
done it in a while.
You know, I was telling somebody this morning, I remember, and I know y'all do, that Joelle and Leanne has been back, we go back, we started doing some shows a few years ago back in Bell Buckle when nobody knew where Bell Buckle, the banquet hall was.
Yes.
And when you started a new venue, it always takes time like anything
Oh,
else.
yeah.
And we'd have 10 people, but these folks were there when we did that. And then we've had people you couldn't get nobody else in the building there.
Exactly.
And they've always been there when I call, and that just means so
Oh.
much
Oh,
to me.
absolutely.
Well, thank you. This
And,
world
and,
does.
and Leanne sings my favorite song, one of my next to my favorite songs
Ooh,
ever.
which one is that?
If you only had one prayer left.
Oh, yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
Wendy Newcomer and Roy Feek and Larry
Larry
Holden
Holden
co-wrote
wrote
that
that.
song together.
Is that not an
That-
amazing song?
I love it.
It puts, I have goosebumps right now
Yeah.
talking about it.
Yeah.
That is one of my favorite songs.
The first
Fabulous
time I
song.
ever heard you sing that,
Yeah.
it was at a tribute, a benefit that we did for Angela.
Yes.
Twitty.
Yeah,
Conway's.
Twitty, yeah,
Conway's,
that's right.
yeah. Conway's doing it.
And I thought, man alive,
Yeah.
what better song could you ever get for this?
Yeah.
And I've never forgotten that song. I sent Wendy a thing after I learned she wrote it and told her
Yes.
what I thought.
Oh, we love that song.
But so I know that 2Country4Nashville is everywhere.
Aw.
We've been everywhere, man.
I mean, tell me just. We'll go back to 2021. I think we were just talking about the rhyming.
Oh
Oh,
my
yeah.
gosh. Okay, the highlight of our career.
That was something.
Yeah, we got to play the Ryman
Headlined our own show
Auditorium.
at the Ryman Auditorium back in March of about this
2021.
time of year, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was.
2021, yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
It was something else, I tell you.
And it was during all the COVID stuff,
Yeah.
social distance, and still had an amazing.
We had
Yeah.
a great. We had with their
With their restrictions,
restrictions, we sold
still
it out.
sold
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
the
we
Ryman.
sold out the Ryman Auditorium.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people
It was
can say
amazing.
that?
I know.
mean,
Right?
You know, with social distance.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's just crazy, and you know, and to go from the Ryman and you've, I follow y'all everywhere, you know, on all your socials, and your fans.
Oh.
They
we-
are the best.
We have family. They're family to us.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
are.
I mean, they're
They are
more
the
than
best.
fans.
They
Yeah, they
are.
are. They really are. And yeah, they follow us. We used to do Carnival cruise ships in the wintertime. We perform on there for 5 to 6 months sometimes.
A year.
And we
at a
met
time.
thousands of people on there. Well, these people still follow us around. And so when the Ryman thing came up during COVID, it's like they hadn't been able to go nowhere.
Yeah.
They're used to cruising. So we said, hey, why don't y'all come to Nashville?
Let's
We'll get
have
some
a
shows.
Land cruise.
And we were having trouble getting venues to even
do.
get with us because of the restrictions. And I joked with her about the Ryman, and I said, call them, they ain't doing nothing. Next thing you know, we're playing the Ryman and sold it out. We have people come in from, was it 14
states.
different states.
14 states
It
came
was
in.
amazing. I remember when that
Yeah,
was
it
going
was-
on and people were talking, and I'm thinking, I mean, you know, that was just an amazing idea and a great idea, and the fans. That's something that they'll always remember. As
Oh,
will
yeah.
y'all, of
They
course.
still
Oh
talk
my
about
gosh, we
We
do.
are part of that.
We have a hatch print. I mean, they made we have hatch print.
Hatch
for
show
that.
print. Yeah.
Yeah.
How
To have your
cool
own,
is that?
that was huge.
Yeah.
And, so go back to early days. Tell folks a little bit what got you into the. I mean, we know your early history, but to come full time into music.
Into music? Mercy.
Oh,
Yeah, I
I
always
remember
did it as a
that.
hobby. And
Because you both.
I
had
was a
some
truck. I
great-
was a truck driver. And
Well, we both grew up in church.
Yeah,
singing.
both grew up singing in
So
church.
I think church was the base of our music for sure.
I always loved music, and I played guitar just in my room, you know, to
Yeah.
myself. But she's the first one that said, you need to quit doing what you're doing and do music full time. And I thought she was crazy. I said, how are we going to eat? And but here we are, what, 17, 18 years later.
Yeah, years later.
And we're making a living at it.
Yeah.
And it's
And
just
loving
something
it.
else.
Yeah.
And I love how you come about the name 2Country4Nashville.
Yeah.
That's a story in itself.
That is a story.
Because we did not start off as
I
Two
was
Country
like,
for
tell the folks how
Nashville.
that
Yeah,
just-
we were just Joel and Leanne, you know.
Yeah.
And,
We watched a show on CMT television called Can You Do It one season. It was their very first season. And that is where we were introduced to Rory Feek and Joey Feek.
Yeah, Joey and Rory.
Joey and Rory. And we watched that show and I was like, oh my gosh, Joelle, I love them. They're doing what we're trying to do. And I said, if they have a second season next year, I want us to go try out. And he was like, whatever, okay. Okay, dear. And so the next year, they advertised that they were gonna have another season. And I said, we're doing it. We're doing it. And we didn't have any of that fast-paced, you know, where if you have like a manager or
The fast
something,
track thing.
you can get a fast track pass there. We showed up at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
in the morning
Down.
on 2nd Avenue
Yeah.
and stood in line with thousands of people waiting for a chance, just like we
It
were.
was about halfway back in line, I guess. It
Yeah.
was huge.
And it just happened to work out that we were able to make our way through several rounds and they liked us. I think at first they thought we were a joke because,
Yeah.
you know, if you see us dressed up, and at the time, Joelle, you had your short hair and you had your
Yeah, I did
pompadour,
pompadour
which you
and,
do for our shows.
Had my nice Carl Smith shirt on with the fringe and everything. I mean, that's the way we dress.
But we happened to make it through several rounds, and
2
we
weeks of it.
finally, 2 weeks of taping, we finally got up to the actual judges for the show that season, and it was Big Kenny.
Big Kenny from Big and Rich and Naomi Judd from, I think, The Judge.
I think that's
Probably heard her. And Scott
Yeah.
Bruschetta of Big Machine Records.
Right. And we made it all the way and we did our tryout for them and they loved us. They
Yeah.
were so nice. They were clapping, they were tapping along and they loved it.
Oh, we thought we were shooing.
I thought, we've got this, we've got this. And we get to the end and Kenny says, man, that was awesome, y'all. I haven't heard that good classic country duets in a long time.
But
But.
yeah, you always hear that dreaded
When you
but.
hear that bud, you think,
Yeah.
Right, but.
I don't think we can use it for this show.
Right. And
And
then
then
it went over to Scott.
Scott Bruschetta said, yeah, that's just 2Country.
Two
You are
Country.
2Country.
And that's where we heard it first.
Yeah.
2Country.
well, you got a name that's stuck.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
fans love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And it's thanks, Scott Bruschetta.
Yeah, I know.
Thanks, Scott.
I know.
It's an easy name to remember.
Yeah.
2Country4
So we just did
Nashville.
a play with it and did the number 2.
Yeah.
The number
Number
2
2 and
country,
number
the number
4.
4 Nashville. And that became us.
And y'all have, over the years, you played every venue around here that I know of.
Oh, yeah.
that I've watched. But you go on the cruises for.
Yeah.
Before COVID, we were doing the Carnival Cruise Line. We would be on a ship for 4 to 6
4
months.
to 6 months at a time in the
same
winter
ship.
time. So we would do the ships in the winter and then
Yeah.
tour on land in the summer.
But we perform on there every day, and it was a great setting because there's only maybe 6 or 7 entertainment
Right.
venues.
On the ship, yeah.
So you're limited in your choices, not like out here where you've got 100,000
Right.
channels on TV
And
you got all these
radio
different
and
radio.
live, yeah.
So people were hunting for stuff, and they'd find us and spend the whole week with us, because they just weren't hearing real country music
Right.
anywhere.
And then at the end of the week, they'd go home. We'd make contacts with them. They'd go home,
Yeah.
and then a whole new set of
Yeah.
people would come on for a new week. And so we made so many fans and friends.
Yeah, friends, family.
During that time. We did that for about 6 years,
6
I guess.
years,
yeah. And it
We
was
get
an
off the
amazing
ship,
experience.
and these people had gone home and said, "Hey, you need to book here." And so we contact them while we was on the ship. We get off the ship. The day we got off the ship, we'd start touring and tour our way home.
So,
Yeah.
Sometimes it'd take a month to get home because we were touring the whole time.
It's they're again following you on social media, and it's like, so if this interview folks go all over, well, they're all over.
Come
Yeah.
see us.
Yeah, please.
we would
Yeah.
love
So
it.
I mean, they jump all over. So this interview's jumping all over.
Hey, we'll go anywhere. If you want us to come play at your house, holler.
But the thing that I thought was so cool that I've seen, and there again, there's no time frame on all this, but if you do these home from the road.
Yeah,
Yes.
that started during COVID.
During COVID.
We call it our Home on the Road show.
Mm-hmm.
And when they started out, it was we were stuck at home for so long. You know, everybody was quarantined or whatever. And when it finally started opening, we still had a few gigs on the books that were kind of like private shows, an anniversary or a wedding or something. But all of our other shows that we'd had booked had canceled because of COVID. We're like, well, how are we going to afford to go way down to Texas to play this
For
wedding
one show.
Right.
for one show and get back and only pay the gas? And our friends started saying, well, why don't you come by the house here and just do a show from the house? we're
And
like,
we'll invite some friends over and
Yeah.
we'll feed them some dinner and
so we thought, well, that's cool, but what about everybody else? So we started filming them. We'd live stream
live stream them.
on Facebook, and we bought a camera. A friend of ours did that. One of our friends bought us a camera and a microphone to set us up with how to do it, and it started working. So we called it our Home on the Road show because we were in somebody's home and doing our on the road show, you know.
Yeah.
And they just and we tried to quit those, you know, when things
And
started. They don't want us to quit.
No,
Yeah,
people
that's
don't
good.
want you. Once,
Yeah.
like we were talking about, little things you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, people, when you miss a night or you do
Oh, yeah.
something
Yeah.
that you do, people's used to see, and then all of a sudden, where were you?
Where are you? Yeah.
Yeah.
We've
Where'd
now
you
been
go?
doing it almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years, yeah.
And-
yeah,
Well, I
coming
mean,
up on
from
it.
homes, and you done it from the Donahoe.
Yeah, we done it from up there.
And-
We've done it from our bus.
Yeah.
And now we're doing it from the house. We're renting. Her mom and dad's got a rental house down in Bethesda, Tennessee.
So
you know where that is.
when we're home in Nashville, we're doing a Home on the Road from there.
Yeah.
So
We call
yeah.
it Studio H. We do Studio H. Studio B's the bus.
One of the places that you were on the road, I think you did extended shows from, that I thought the scenery was just beautiful, and that was at a campground in Arizona or somewhere.
Okay,
Or
so-
Devils,
Yeah.
We did
Last winter, this time of year, we were out in Arizona near Tombstone,
Okay.
Arizona.
in the wintertime, yeah, Tombstone.
Lakes of St. David,
Mm-hmm.
and we do shows from there. And then the summer, we took a job with a KOA at Devil's Tower, Wyoming. I mean, it's right at the base of the tower. And we stayed there all summer
We
and played shows in
entertained
the
there
area.
at the campground
yeah.
and then played around the
Yeah.
area.
And it was fabulous.
That's
It was
some country out there to
gorgeous.
see.
It's gorgeous.
And-
I love that.
And it
country.
makes you think back to the Western days and what, you know, but that was, I thought, wow, that's
I was so
amazing.
excited. One of the first songs I ever wrote was a song called Last Cowboy in Wyoming. And this summer, when we got out there in May, was the first time I got to sing that song in Wyoming.
Yeah.
So it was very cool for me.
And that's an Indian,
Oh,
charity. Yeah, and I believe you've got an Indian heritage.
Yes, I do. I was adopted into the Lakota Indian tribe from up South Dakota, just real near where we were.
And but I seen that and I thought, now that's beautiful
Yeah.
country. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and how blessed we are to do the things that we love to
Yeah.
give people.
It is a
music
blessing.
And blessed I am to work with people such as y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
you know.
man, thank you.
And
Well, it was amazing because we got to stay out there for about 3 months. And during that 3 months, our friends and
Yeah.
fans
Yeah.
made their vacation plans.
Yeah, we had-
and came out there
Did they
and
show
spent.
up here? We
Yeah,
We
they
had
did.
tons
It
of
was-
folks come out.
It was awesome.
Tennessee,
I mean, that's just
Texas,
that's our
Missouri,
favorite
all over.
part about what we do.
Yeah.
Is our
well,
our
you
people.
could tell that you love your family and friends.
Yeah.
And all that, because I mean, when you have a buzz and you put the names of the people on the back of the bus,
Oh,
yeah.
thank you.
you know, that is just, to me,
Can we tell you about that?
yes, by all means. Yes.
I'm telling you that
we're
that
proud
is
of that.
we are so proud of that. We had the opportunity to get a bus and it fell through. We had money saved up, it fell through. And so then we kept looking. We didn't give up. We kept looking, but then we found one that would have been absolutely perfect, and we just didn't have
Another
enough
bus.
money.
Yeah,
Another
but.
bus. But yeah. And so some friends of ours were like, "No, you need that bus." And we're like, "Oh, we do need that
Can't
bus,
afford it,
but we
though.
can't afford that bus right now." And they said, "We're going to help you." They put together and planned a busathon, a marathon.
Yep.
And if anybody knows this guy, he never wants to quit singing. So they said, let's put our money where Joel's mouth is. And they said, as long as y'all keep singing, we'll keep donating for the bus.
She's quit every show we've ever done. I'll just say that. It's true.
We played and sang for 14 hours straight.
Yep.
And we raised enough money from our 2Country4Nashville family to buy our bus. And people sponsored our bus, and we put their names on the back of our
And
bus.
that is so cool. I mean, you see
Oh
all
my
these
gosh.
buses of these mates are, and I'm sure they're thankful for their fans.
Oh,
but this
yeah.
is just,
Yeah.
I mean, this is just something to say. We know why we
We know why, yeah, we know
know,
why
We're
we
only
have
here
this.
because of our fans.
Yeah.
and that's
we got
just
their names. It means a lot to me to have their names on the back of the bus. I figured they're back there pushing.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
we need
it's
them,
like,
you know?
things like that mean a lot to fans that people think, why would you? It's like at shows, I told somebody the other day, I said, my shows, I'm always at the door. I'm never not at the door. I'm always at the door. If I'm not at the door, I'll get a call, somebody there again, goes back to, well, I didn't see you at the door. Where were you? You know, because it's like you see the same folks come to all your stuff,
Yeah,
and you got to let them know you appreciate
you
it.
appreciate
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
support so
And-
much.
Well,
It's unbelievable.
I had somebody come up to me, and they ask you all the time, they ask, how long have you been in the music business? How long have y'all been in the music business? Just a simple question. And I'm kind of famous for joking and just throwing stuff off the whatever first thing that pops in my head. I just said, hey, we're not in the music business, we're in the people business. And then as a joke, and then we got to thinking about, well, no, that's really true.
It's true.
We've never been in the music business. We're in the people business. We love people. We love being around. We love getting to know them and sharing it with them.
Yeah.
And if you've ever gone to a 2Country4Nashville show, I don't have to tell you. If you haven't, and you go to one, you're going to see what Joel's talking about. And people just,
Yeah.
they have fun. They
We,
have-
and
and that's
we like
what
to
it's about.
entertain. And if you're not having fun, we're not doing our job right.
That's
and,
right.
And it ain't a job. The job is getting to the gig, setting up for the gig, and tearing down and going to the next one. My time on stage is my vacation. That is my
That
vacation.
is so,
Yeah.
that's just, and it's like I said, when you love what you're doing, you can tell it.
Yeah. we
And
do.
and the people that see y'all perform know you love what you're doing,
I
and
ho-
that you love them as for being there.
That I hope that always portrays, because that is exactly how we feel, and
And we're thankful.
we're there
I-
because of them.
Yeah. I will say this too. We're talking about those names on the back of the bus. Who's the first name on that bus?
God.
God's first name.
But
God.
it's like,
We're very thankful.
Yeah.
We know it's all a blessing.
it's like Jenny Seeley told me a while back that it wasn't, when she goes on stage, she says, it's not how I feel. It's not about me. It's not what kind of day I've had or whatever. These people spend hard-earned money to be here, and I'm gonna give them the best show I can give them.
Yeah.
And and that's what she says. What we do. That's
Yeah.
what.
Yeah.
They're why we do what we do.
I've
And you
heard-
talked about when you first started back at Bell Buckle, where you might be playing to 10 people,
Right.
or you might be playing to 1,000 people. It's the
Oh, wow.
same show if you're playing to 10
Yeah.
people.
It doesn't matter.
You are there for those folks, and you're going to give your very best.
Back in those days in Bell Buckle, for example, I remember I told the owner out there, I said, when we started, I said, the first few shows, no matter how much you publicize it,
Yeah.
you don't know.
It
You
takes
know,
a
you
while
just
to
don't
build
know,
it. Yeah.
because nobody's there. And I remember we've had I think y'all were there one night. We had very few people. Then we were there.
Yeah, it was
The
fun.
whole
back out
place
the door.
was packed.
And
Yeah.
I've got a show coming up with Rhonda Benson that Williams and Branch is on, and Williams.
We
Oh, yeah.
absolutely know
And
that.
they were there the same way. Kevin, and it goes back to something you think back when people say things, and we were there one night, and it was just starting out there in Bell Buckle, and it was a very limited crowd, and Kevin said, well, we'll be on another show, and now it's that way. It's gonna be packed. But you do it because you love it.
Yeah.
And the fans that show up, it doesn't matter if there's one or what, one or 1,000, like you said.
Yeah.
You're getting the same show.
Yeah.
We've had several gigs, little places, and we showed up, and for whatever reason, just many people showed up that night, and got to the end of the night, and the venue'd come up to pay us. We're like, no, y'all keep it, because
We want the venues to do well.
Yeah.
And
it's
we
like we had fun, they had fun, we're good, and we don't want y'all to go in the hole paying us.
That's like people will call. I had a lady call me last night. It was funny. I never met the lady. Don't know who she is, but I could tell that she was probably in the 80s
Mm-hmm.
range or more. And I told her the price of a concert she was asking about, and well, sugar.
Sugar?
She said, is that the best you can do? And finally, I said, I wasn't at my desk. I said, I had her phone number was on my phone. I said, let me call you back when I get back to the house. So I did. I just told her, you bring somebody and you come.
Yeah.
You know, that's all.
Yeah.
Well, don't I owe you shit? No, you don't owe me because it's just something I want
But you
you
know
to
what?
go.
That pays off.
It always comes
She's
back
gonna tell her
around.
friends, and they're
Oh,
gonna come.
it's
always-
just that, and to me, it's, you know, what's a ticket?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it pays the bills.
I know.
But that will pay a lot more bills.
Yeah.
It will.
You know,
I agree.
And so your fans are what makes you, and that's why we're able to do what we do.
And speaking of that, we've even had shows where we've had people say, well, I wish we could come. I wish we could afford to be there.
Yeah.
I really would like to be there. We've had friends of ours say, we'll pay their
You will
ticket.
cover. Yeah.
We'll cover their.
We'll cover theirs. That's
Yeah.
no problem.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you know, that's what it's about. I mean, it's just if I'm like I said, I've been doing these for 20 years everywhere, not just Bell Buckle or otherwise, but everywhere. But I work like y'all did previously. I work, but I'm blessed. I do it from home. So, you know, it's if a ticket makes or break me, I don't need to be doing this.
Right.
That's,
You know,
yeah.
it's not. And if it gives somebody happiness that tells me basically we can't afford this,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
then I can give you that ticket.
Yeah.
You
You
knew
know,
she was
That's
sincere. She
awesome.
really wanted to come.
but it
She
just,
couldn't
you know,
afford it.
but it's distractions those people that, you know, hey, sugar,
All right.
that's the best you can do.
That's exactly the best you can do.
That's a, you
Kind
know,
of reminds me of the lady that
Oh,
pulled up and asked little Jimmy how much the fella gets to, how much he gets. To, the
oh,
lady
are you
pays him
gonna
to
try?
mow grass.
Oh my gosh, no, yeah, we're not gonna go down
love
the
little Jimmy
I
jokes.
love little Jimmy Dickens. Speaking of, I am like thrilled. We're here at the Willie Nelson Museum,
Oh.
here at Music City, and it is amazing. It's our first time to be back here in the museum, and Ron, this
Yeah,
is
it's a
such
treat
a
for
great
us.
when
place.
Joel got here today, Joel does these whaling Wednesdays.
Oh, that whaling.
And I had to show him the whaling
Oh, he run first
showcase.
leg, show me the
yeah.
whaling showcase over here. I was excited, boy.
But
Hey, boy.
this is a beautiful place, and Mark, the owners, and Jenny and Jan that run, you know, they
Y'all
are
get to
just-
town, you need to come.
They are just great, and it's right next. I mean, everything in Music Valley. You know, and it's a shame that a lot of people don't know that this is
Yeah.
here.
I didn't know till today this
Well,
was
it's
back
like,
here.
You know, they're going to go back to an interview recently with Jenny Sealing. She said, Music Valley area, this out here where we've got the Willie Nelson Museum, you got Nashville Palace, you got Troubadour, you got all this. This ought to be a small Branson.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
really.
Absolutely.
And I've heard
Yeah.
from folks back today, it was planned that way. It was supposed to be.
Yeah, and one time,
And,
and you know, and then and now you guys like everything in Nashville. You just you know, things change.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I think it's trying to come back a little
think
bit
so.
out here.
Well, this is probably our favorite area of
Yeah.
Nashville because here within just one block, you can go to so many venues and so many live music places and get a feel for real Nashville.
Yeah, real
You
Nashville.
know, and it's amazing. So we always tell friends when they come to Nashville, they're like, what do we need to make sure we see? And we're like, go to Music Valley.
Everybody wants to go
Gotta go to
downtown.
Music
Downtown's
Valley.
cool.
Downtown is cool.
Parking's hard.
Yeah.
It's crowded.
Yeah, here you can
It's
park in a
easy out
parking
here,
lot
yeah.
and see
And-
Yeah.
everything.
And see
You-
everything.
there's plenty of parking. You
Yeah.
can park back here behind, and you can walk to 4 or 5 different venues and see
Right.
some real country music in every one of them.
Yeah.
And you
It's
know,
cool.
it's just amazing in what it is out
Yeah.
here. So,
Mm-hmm.
so tell the folks where they can find out about 2Country for Nashville.
Oh, thank you. You can go to our website, www.2Country4Nashville.com. Also on social media, Facebook or Instagram, the same thing, 2Country4Nashville. And we've got several big events coming up this year. We're going to be in Pigeon Forge next month in
Yep,
April.
We got a big weekend over there. We call them a Fan-mily weekend. We got a big Fan-mily weekend over there. We're going to be playing at Puckett's in Pigeon Forge on that Saturday night.
And around the area.
Then what's our next?
We have
August?
a big tour starting in June.
Oh yeah, we're going out
be-
west. We're going back out to Devil's Tower.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, we're going to make a quick run out there.
Some
We're gonna
people just get lucky like that.
We're gonna make about a month and a half long through Missouri and Oklahoma,
Arkansas,
and South Dakota, and Wyoming and Texas,
Colorado and Texas. Yeah. And then when we get back, we're actually playing in
Louisiana.
Franklin, Tennessee. Oh, don't forget Louisiana. Franklin, Tennessee, August 25th. We're playing for the big main event fundraiser for A Vintage Affair.
Yep.
And we're the headlining band.
It's called the Rhinestone Cowboy Gala.
Right?
So that's,
yeah, and so we're playing at that. Our friend Manuel, who made our outfits and made all the Porter Wagner outfits, all the outfits
mostly
around
suits.
Isn't
here.
he amazing?
He is
Love
amazing.
Manuel.
He's
Great
going to be
guy.
a special guest there
Yeah.
as well. So those tickets are available. And then in November, we're going back out on the cruise ship. So
Yeah, we've got a Veterans Day cruise. We're going to take a fan cruise with all of our
Get back out
fans
there.
and celebrate the
So
veterans for a week.
sometime this year, we want to get with 2 Countries in Nashville on something.
Hey, we'd love it.
we would love
We'd love
it.
it, man.
We would
So
love
we'll
it.
make that happen. But
Yeah.
check their website out, folks,
Please do.
and stay tuned with us on fireconcerts.com and see what all the shows we have coming up. But by all means, anywhere you are that you can see 2 Country for Nashville, go do so.
Oh, thanks,
You
Ron.
will not be disappointed.
Thank you,
Ron.
Ron. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
And thanks y'all so much for watching.
Appreciate it.
That's awesome.
And until next time, we'll see you then.
Y'all keep it country.
Keep it country
Always.
always.